Grant, I don't know if I should do this, but I'm going to give you your time to gloat about your Kansas City Chiefs beating the Buffalo Bills here in the game to put a bow on the divisional round weekend.
Well, first off, what a game. I mean, when these two teams
I
get
think
to,
wait, should we take our shirts off for this one?
we're not as cool as Jason Kelsey.
All right, I just had to throw it out there.
Oh no, that's a good one. But we're not wearing Timberlands, and we're not about 15 beers deep, so it wouldn't be as special.
Well, I
As
might have
Jason.
been at that point.
That is true. But at this current time, I don't think we're 15 beers deep.
No, I am not.
But first off, man, I think you just got to talk about how special the games are when these two teams play. Like it's getting close to like the intensity that rivals Carolina Duke in basketball. Like in the second half, at halftime when they said in these last 6 quarters, it's 171 to 171, like points scored against each other for these last 6.5 games. At the start of the fourth quarter, both teams had 353 yards of total offense, or 351. I mean, you just know it's going to be a 3-point game, and these teams are going to give it everything they have because they know everything about each other, and it's who's going to go out there and who's going to make a play. So just as football fans, we should appreciate these two teams when they play because it's always going to be a treat. And they're going to be leaving us with plenty of stuff to talk about. But as the game got started, I knew Buffalo was going to come out and they were going to give the Chiefs everything they had. But the first drive of the game when Buffalo had it, at 3rd and 17, I'm thinking, hey, this is going to be good. All right, yeah, the Chiefs, they got them right where they want. They're going to get a 3 and out, and then Josh Allen, he's going to scramble, and he throws a lateral right away, and I'm watching it live. I'm like, oh well, that's Josh Allen making a play. What can I say? And then you look at it, and technically, sure, the Chiefs should have thrown the challenge flag, blah blah blah, whatever. But they go down and they kick a field goal, and I'm like, all right, hey, field goals are going to win you games. Holding the Buffalo to field goals, that's going to help you win games. And the Chiefs, confident they have a good drive, then they kick another field goal. It's like, all right, whatever. Buffalo, they go down. They're a championship team. They have a drive. They score a touchdown. But then, the Chiefs, then they come back afterwards and they kick another field goal. And Dylan, at this point, I'm not going to lie, I'm sitting back and I'm like, I wonder if it's just this whole field goal game that I talked about last week. It's going to come back and bite them in the ass. It's not going to do it. But then they're able to get a stop, and then Kelsey scores a touchdown, and then the pandemonium starts, from that suite with Jason and his shirt off, which was just great to see. But then, Buffalo, they go down, they get a touchdown, they go into halftime. But kind of coming to this game, Dylan, I almost now feel like how Patriots fans felt for that 24-year run. Why be nervous? Why? There's no point in being nervous anymore. You know why? Because this team, they've been there, they've done that. We saw it in last year's Super Bowl. Spags is going to make adjustments. Andy's going to go out, and he really didn't have to make adjustments because he had this Buffalo team reeling. He knew what they were doing all game. I think the Chiefs only had 5 third downs this whole game because they averaged 9 point some yards a play. Just like, be calm, be cool, be collected. They're going to go out, they're going to make their plays when they need to. And they did. After that first drive in the second half, the Chiefs defense changed the front up and they didn't let Buffalo run down their throat all the time. The Chiefs started scoring touchdowns, and it was just this classic game where you're like, hey, you know what? They're gonna stop. They're gonna make a stop. And they're gonna make the plays they need to, and they're gonna come out with a victory. And they did, and it was great to see. And now we're on to Baltimore.
Well, you now you're sounding like the Patriots here, and we're on to Baltimore.
Yeah.
It was. Question I have is do the Bills need to go a different direction from Sean McDermott? It feels like this team has plateaued, kind of almost similar to what the the 2003 Bucks were in with Tony Dungy, where they fired him and they brought in John Gruden, where they just need that different voice. That someone that Tony Dungy, I mean, he's a Super Bowl winning coach, but needed somebody like a Gruden to kind of light a fire under their ass and get them to get. Maybe that's what gets them over the hump. But you look at some of the coaching decisions, the fake punt, which you can debate whether if there were 10 men, but great play by the Chiefs defense to sniff it out and make a play. And then it could have been backbreaking I don't even know if you really you can blame anybody. I think the Bills defensive back just made a heck of a play.
On that fumble.
And the other part about it too is that Bills defense was banged up, and it's been a common theme. And you look at the difference from a few years ago when both these teams met in the AFC Championship game, where the Chiefs, took a couple of steps back. Though leading into this year, where they got rid of some of the older guys on the team and got younger, where the Bills at the same time decided to get rid of some of the younger guys and get older, and they're not there to play. So, this is something that Buffalo, I think, is going to have to look at, is trying to get younger on the defensive side of the ball and trust your player development program to get them to where they can be a Super Bowl winning defense. But even though the Bills controlled the ball for 37 and a half minutes or whatever it was, it never felt like Buffalo was in control of the game at all. I always felt like the Chiefs always had the upper hand. And this is just the Chiefs are the Bills' dad. Our socials tweeted out posted after the game is Pat Mahomes on Josh Allen on Pat Mahomes' shoulders. And yes, the Bills 2 straight games they haven't turned the ball over, but this game was also the best the Chiefs offense has looked since probably since Taylor Swift made her debut.
Yeah.
And we'll get to see Taylor Swift's box again probably this week. And Grant, you talked about it earlier, was the two long drives Buffalo had. They got 3 points out of them. One was a 16-play drive. The other was a 14-play drive, where the first one was the first drive of the game where they ended up getting 3 points. And when you're driving the ball for that long, you have to find a way, especially against a team like Kansas City. A guy like Pat Mahomes is, when it's all said and done, is probably going to go down as at least a top 5 quarterback of all time. And then in the last drive, it felt like once Buffalo got into field goal range, they almost just played for overtime and played not to lose. So, and Josh Allen missed. Stephon Diggs had a drop. Josh Allen missed a receiver on that drive too. So it's still just a hurdle that Buffalo cannot seem to get over. But anybody that was doubting the Chiefs, and since I am the resident Chiefs hater, yet I've picked them to win the division, picked them to go to the Super Bowl at the start of the year here, how am I the one standing here saying I'm right but all I do is I'm a Chiefs hater?
That's the power of the internet for you. There's a bunch of clowns out there who truly, don't know what the hell they're talking about. But, Dylan, I think the one thing that you brought up, this is the best offensive game the Chiefs have played pretty much since that Bears game. Romo said it in the broadcast. Andy almost found something having his receivers closer to the line of scrimmage and a lot of bunch sets, because then it opens up so much more of the field, so much more of the sideline. Where earlier in the year, when they had your classic formations, when you'd have receivers close to the sideline, and when you're on the left hash, you have trips to the right, there was so much less space to maneuver. When receivers can't get open, you just got to bunch people up and scheme people open. And Andy, he did a great job of that this last week. And then also just continuing the downhill running game with Isaiah Pacheco. Trust in your offensive line, like I've been trying to get this team to do this whole year. Run forward with your guard, the guard and center combination they have, move the line of scrimmage, pull some guards, just be a physical downhill running team because it is January. It is playoff time. More than likely, the team with the most rushing yards in the game is going to win that game. So be physical. Just get back to old school football and give yourself a chance late to make a play on defense, or have Buffalo not make a play.
Yeah, and that speaks to the experience the Chiefs have of they've been in those spots. It's almost like they're comfortable. They like being in that role, and Buffalo was favored. Chiefs basically there's nothing more dangerous in sports than a dynasty or a power. I'm not ready to call the Chiefs a dynasty yet.
Got to be 3. Got to win 3.
Yeah. Well, about 3 weeks away from potentially that happening. A powerhouse, thinking they're the underdogs and embracing and relishing in that role, which the Chiefs have seemed to do in these last this last month of the season.
Just like the Patriots going into that AFC title game in the 2018 regular season. Edelman to Brady the whole game. You're too old. You can't play. You're too old. And they were not too old, and the Patriots, they went out and they won that game.